Howdy there, it's Bonnie. Welcome back to another week from Bonnie's Legends. This week is filled with episodes, interviews, and music reviews. And yeah, before we dive into this episode, I really want to mention and shout out that every single day on our social media we are posting the fresh music releases. So um I think it's mainly because I am following a lot of artists on Spotify. It looks like a huge number, um, but it's pretty good. Like I like having fresh music releases in my inbox every single day, and obviously it I can benefit from it massively while collecting every single week's new music releases. So we have a playlist. We have a weekly playlist, and then we also have a playlist of every single song we added to the playlist before from this year already. And I think it's already over 200 songs, and we only have May, which is like wow. Um, so yeah, if you're into music and if you like want to discover new music, um, have your eyes peeled out for the Bonus Legend story, and or follow our playlist on Spotify, because we update the weekly playlist every single day. That was what I wanted to start this episode with. And then the second thing that I wanted to add before we dive into this week's schedule is that this podcast I've been having this project Bonus Legends for 4 years this week. I started end of May interviewing people. I remember interviewing Charlie Clausfeld and him telling me like he has not found anything about the podcast, and me being like, yeah, it's because I'm starting, like the first episode is coming out mid June. He's like, oh wow, okay. So I've been feeling very reflective and emotional over here. Been thinking a lot about like all of the people that I interviewed and been in contact with, and all of the friends that I made for Bonus Legends. It's like really, it's it's really fascinating, and I'm really proud. For the first time, really, I'm celebrating bonus legends in my journey with this podcast. I have not done this before because I've constantly been thinking about all of the interviews that I've done and that I need to edit and that I need to put out. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of hours that get into this project. If you really think about it, it's I cannot call it a job because I have never made any money from this. Um, so but it also hurts me to just say it's a hobby, because it's not really like the amount of hours I'm spending on here is really cannot be called anymore a hobby. So I just wanted to point that out. And I, with saying that, I feel like I've been kind of here for 4 years straight. I take breaks in between, but usually on the breaks, I work on getting things like and having things scheduled beforehand. I currently have a huge backlog from episodes and interviews I've done about last year. Going so far like from last year's summer. And so my priority right now is just to get those out in the world, to edit those and get them out in the world. So that being said, I feel very burned out at the moment. I feel like I've never really done a real break on here. Constantly been interviewing and constantly been editing and constantly been thinking about it. Like if I take a break, right? Like if I'm like, yeah, I don't have to force myself to have finished another episode for this week. I go to bed and I'm just thinking about all of the episodes that I have to edit. And yes, so I still enjoy the process very much. I just feel very, very burned out lately. And so I am, yeah, I am thinking of giving myself a break. But as I said, I still have a lot of episodes to edit, so you'll still be hearing from me probably a lot. But yeah, I need to think. I need to listen. Like something calls in me, and so I need to listen to that voice and see what it actually means. I would probably not stop this. I could never stop Bonnie Legends, but as I said, I'm thinking of taking a long break without interviewing the people, without editing episodes, without doing anything, right? Uh, yeah. All right. So I just wanted to point that out, um, because I know a lot of people know how much work it takes for artists to put their art out there in the world, um, but I think I can better explain it in the writing and publishing world because I am a writer and self-publisher. And a lot of people know that writing a novel takes time, but a lot of people don't see the hours that it takes to self-publish and to cover design and the form of the book and etc. etc. Right? I could go on forever. So that's actually funny because it's like funny how sometimes we already have gone far as a society where we kind of see how long it takes for us to actually come up with something creative and to work on that. Um, but we have currently such an under knowledge of how much work it actually takes to post on social media to get a book out there in the world, to get an album out there in the world. It takes a lot of time, and there's this huge under knowledge out there in the world. So it felt necessary for me to speak about this today. Okay, so I've done that. Let's dive into this week of Bonnie's Legends. So tomorrow I have an album review coming out plus with an interview section. I have been obsessively listening to Evil Adjacent by Cosmo Rat since its release, and so I remember that I texted with them a few months back. So I just texted them. We're like, "Hey, what do you like? Would you like to answer me a few questions for an album review?" And they answered. And so tomorrow, Tuesday, May 21st, an album review is coming out. Diff, a little poem. I've kind of pulled a Bowie. I've um I've selected all of the lyrics of the EP and kind of written a poem out of it. If you're unfamiliar with the Bowie method, he sometimes took all of his lyrics, cut them out in pieces, and then put together a complete new song. I felt inspired by that and by the lyrics of Evil Adjacent, so I did that. So you can read that as well. And then on Wednesday, May 22nd, episode 7 of season 4 is coming out with Jocelyn Nielsen. And Jocelyn has been on the podcast before. I've released our preview to this episode in March, because we had met twice, and so I have like material of 3 hours. And then the first time we met, we actually went on a huge 40 minutes tangent talking about specific movies. For example, the difference between Top Gun 1 and Top Gun 2. And yeah, in this episode that's coming out this Wednesday, we dive a bit more into Jocelyn's creative process of writing, her blog, how fascinating and how much we can learn from the storytelling of Disney. And yeah, I love for Disney. That was a really fun time spending with Jocelyn. And then on Friday, actually, I have a written music interview coming out with Drea. We have met before her single Dear Emily came out. And so this interview is mostly about Dear Emily, but her EP has been released already since a month. So we also talked about that back in March. And of course, that's included in there as well. So that's coming out on Friday. And then on Saturday, May 25th, Operating Music, episode 22. I cannot believe I've been doing this for 2 years and I already collected like 22 episodes. That feels crazy. But I have Carol Aids with me. And also, we talked in March about her new single and her new era music. And her creative process as well. So that one is coming out on Saturday, and on Sunday, May 26th, Operating Music, week 21st. Is it week 21st? Yes, it is week 21st. So what I said in the beginning of our social media and the weekly playlist we have, the fresh music, is always accompanied by a music blog. And so that one is coming out on Sunday. Then at the end, I want to add our pre-save section for it. So new music releases that come out in the next few weeks. So first we have Chloe Slater's EP coming out, You Can't Put a Price on Fun. Another EP that is coming out is Frances Mystery's Messages. It's a second EP. I've interviewed her around the first EP last year, and I'm really excited for the second one. And then a bunch of albums are coming out in the next few weeks, like Best at Well, Light Sleeper, The Mariers, Submarine. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this album to come out. Then we have Dream Machine by Habibi. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then we have, they call it a mini album, but I think you can give it the title of an LP. It's Fräulein, the Sink or Swim. Yes, all of the pre-save links can be found underneath. And if you actually come back to this episode, I will update the weekly itinerary with the links. So right now, the episodes are not linked because they're not out yet, but I will update them with links as soon as they come out. And then, as always, I can just put it out there that you can subscribe to our Substack, which is bonuslegends.substack.com, and you can get sent all of the episodes, but also all of the music blogs into your inbox via email, or when you have the app, you get it there as well. And then, yeah, if you're an artist who is looking to be interviewed by me, or you just simply want to add your pre-save link to the section above, there's linked a form, and I get notified about the form, and also I'm checking on there like weekly and getting back to artists. And then at the end, something I haven't really announced big yet is the Legends Club. So if you want to support the podcast, you can either join us monthly. You can either pay us monthly, every 6 months, or yearly. And so you get access to the film club, which I'm calling it right now a film club, but at the end of the day, we're not going to watch big blockbusters, because this Bonus Legend was never really... Bonus Legend was all about smaller artists and independent artists. So I'm playing around with the idea, either doing short films or just doing music videos. And then you also get one monthly personalized playlist. Oh, that's actually funny that I'm saying one monthly personalized playlist. Oh yeah, it makes actually sense. So like every single month I am sending out a personalized playlist. And you also get a Bonnie Sessions logo button that I've been handing out already at gigs. And yeah, this is all for me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I'd highly appreciate if you would subscribe either on the platform you're listening to or on Substack. As I said, on Substack I usually see it. On Spotify it's a bit more tricky to pull up the analytics. And then as well, what else did I want to say? I had the Substack, but also, oh yeah, follow us on social media. Like the playlists we are posting on our Spotify, and give this a like. Oh yeah, and as always, if you enjoyed listening to this episode and you want to support us in a free way, just download this episode quickly, and then you can also undownload it. But it counts as a download, and downloads are helping us reaching other people. So, all right. That's it. If you want to discuss a few things, my DM's always open on Bonus Legends. I am more active on the Bonus Legends messaging than on my regular Instagram. So that's all. That's all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here for 4 years. God. All right. Well, see you next week.